I always find the best kind of underwear are big old granny pants or kind of women boxers. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Harriet, or most people call me Haz. If you're new around here, hello and welcome. Yeah, today I feel like I'm going to be a bit of like a mummy figure. I feel that's where I'm going to be coming from. I feel like I'm getting them kind of vibes from it. But a lot of you guys have been requesting like a period kind of chat, a period like talk, whatever you want to call it. So I thought, you know, why not? So over on Instagram yesterday, I put up one of them like Instagram question boxes asking like, you know, what kind of period questions would you like me to answer? What kind of other period talk would you like me to talk about today? And I thought Instagram wasn't working, but I just realised I think it's our internet. This is what happens when you live out in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, yeah, if you want to come along and, you know, have a little of a girly chat with me, then keep on watching. I'm trying to remember some of the questions that you asked me. One of them was, what brand do you like? And I can't remember if this is the actual brand because I don't really bother looking at the brand anymore. I know what I always get and I just go and pick it up. I think it's the brand Always that I quite like. So I usually use these. To be honest, I don't use these ones anymore. I find these ones are a bit too small. So mine are quite light and they don't last very long. It only lasts for like 2, maybe 3 days. Like getting on to the 3rd day, there's practically like, you know, nothing really there. Now and then I do get them months where it is really heavy and it's just like, oh no, I can't deal with this. Quite lucky, I think. But yeah, so I used to use these ones by the brand Always, and they're just like a normal standard kind of like sanitary towel. But I found that on a few occasions I have leaked out. Some of them very, very embarrassing, so we'll talk about that later. So I then kind of like upgraded to these ones. These ones are a little bit more expensive. These are for people that have quite heavy periods, I think, or would prefer like a big, like longer kind of tongue like sanitary towel, so you feel a bit more secure like me. So like I always find when you sit down, I always worry that it might end up just like squidging out the back. So I like these because they go quite high up the back area, the buttock area, and these are meant to absorb 10 times more like weight, and I think these are like a kind of gel one, and I love these called foamy because they feel a bit more like you can't feel them. Like with this one I feel like it's a bit too stiff and I feel like I'm wearing a massive like nappy. So yeah, I really like these. So I wear these like on day 1 or like up to day 2, and I wear these in bed. These are really good for bed because I sometimes find like when you lay down they kind of leak out. So yeah, I really like these ones. And I have like these ones which I think are basically similar to these ones but not as long. So these ones are quite nice if you don't want like the big long tongue like going right up your back. So yeah, just so you know, this is more of a paler kind of purple for the smaller ones. But usually on the front of the packets they always say like they have like teardrops to show you like how much it will absorb, and then it also shows you how long like the sanitary towel is. So because I've had a few kind of like, you know, mishaps where I have leaked out, on day 1 and 2, if I'm finding it's one of them months where it's quite heavy, I like to use like a tampon. So I do use quite a few different tampons. So these ones are by Always also, or is it the brand like it's the brand Tampax, I think. I'm not quite sure. But they're all pretty much the same, I think. So I'll open this up. This one is like a plastic kind of tube, so like literally all you do is just obviously insert this and it pushes out. This one is a little bit more nicer than other ones I'm going to show you because it's plastic, and I find it just kind of glides up a bit more easily and a bit more like what we would call more comfortable. They do different sizes, so you can get smaller ones, and that depending on, you know, what kind of fit. I don't know what you'd call it, but depends how comfortable you feel. So sometimes when my period's quite heavy, I'll use like a sanitary towel and then also one of these at the same time, because I find you still kind of leak out with these. And also find that sometimes because sometimes I'm quite light, I don't need to keep changing this like every time I go to the toilet. Like if you did that, it would be really expensive. But then I find that when you go for a wee, you need to try and tuck this like behind, because if not, obviously you will wee on it and it will get wet and soaked with wee. And then when you obviously put your underwear back on, this kind of then will soak into your underwear, and then yes, you smell a bit like of like wee. So sometimes I find it's quite like nice to have one of these and these, because then if you do, you know, get a bit of wee on this and it's, you haven't like, you know, wiped it all, then that will kind of soak up some of the wee, and then obviously your pants and that won't smell of wee, because that's not very nice. There is cheaper versions which I don't mind using, but these ones like Boots do them, and then Superdrug do them, like any kind of like store does them, but like it's their own kind of brand. These ones though are obviously cardboard, like paper ones, and they look rather big, but it's just the same kind of like you know, kind of like application, how you use it. You just literally just push it up. The only thing is, I would recommend is if you do use the cardboard ones, is like be careful, because I don't know if you can see it on camera, but these are like cardboardy ones, and these do stab and do hurt quite a lot. I have like stabbed myself a few times. And then also when you're inserting, be careful that you don't like catch any skin like when you're pushing it up, because that's happened to me before and it does hurt. So be careful of that. That's why sometimes with these ones, like if you're experimenting and you want to give these a go, try like the plasticky ones, the more expensive ones, just because these will be a bit more comfortable for you and probably wouldn't scare you the first time round. Obviously when I said you get different sizes, like the sponge will be a different size, and I think also it will absorb in different ways. So if you want to see how it works, a good thing is to like experiment and maybe put it in some water, and you can kind of see how it works and expands inside you. When you pull it out, I personally feel like you can't really feel it, you just pull it out. To be honest, I don't really notice these. Like when I wear these, I do notice them. I just feel like, oh, they're all clingy. Also, you are meant to change these quite regularly, because obviously you gotta keep clean down there and that. But if you're very light like me and like you hardly get any kind of blood, then you don't really need to change every time. But if you're quite heavy, then I would change it literally every time you go to the toilet. The same with like sanitary towels, because you want to keep nice and fresh and clean down there. Also, when you're out and about, if you do find that you are quite heavy on your period, sometimes I find to keep a bit safe, in a little like makeup bag, I like to keep a few like little makeup wipes, because I find that's nice, because you can give yourself like a little bit of a clean in the toilet. Or there is a brand called Femi, is it called Femi or Femi Wash or something like that, and they do like little travel size like kind of like wipes that you can use to like clean yourself down there. And it's not just for people, you know, or on your period, it's just if you want to have like a little clean and stuff, because you know, you want to keep nice and fresh and clean and hygienic. Poundland sell them, which is quite handy for you guys to know, because obviously it's quite cheap. You can go and pick them up in there. And then if you're feeling a bit embarrassed about going to the till with them, they have like self checkouts, so you can just go and scan in yourself so no one can see what you're buying. But at the end of the day, it's natural, okay, so don't worry about it. So there's some of the things I use. There's some other ones in here, just like loads of different ones that I like to keep. I always like to keep stocked up, and I do keep one of these always in my handbag, one of these and one of these little ones. So like you can never be too sure, like when it's coming close to when I'm on my period, I like to keep these in my handbag just in case. There is loads of different kind of apps you can download, so you can keep like track of when you're on your period. I think also you can write notes to say how heavy it was and things like that, which is quite handy. Or like me, you can just write it on a calendar. But yeah, periods are only natural, so I feel like you should be able to talk about it. Like when I was younger, when I used to come on my period, I would never dare tell anyone. I felt like quite embarrassed. I don't know why, because like now I'll just tell Mickey. I'll be like, Mickey, I'm on my period, so be warned, this bitch might be a bit moody, because we do get a bit hormonal, don't we, ladies? Like sometimes I know when I'm coming on my period, because like leading up to it, like a week before, I feel kind of bit like, I don't know, agitated, and I feel like a bit moody, but then also I would feel like too happy and my emotions would just be all over the place. And then like literally the day before I come on to my period, I just want to cry. I just feel like really upset and I just want to cry. I think it happens to a lot of you girls, you ladies, but yeah, it's only natural. I started my period because I don't know if you've seen, I done like a girly talk video not that long ago, and we talked about some kind of period questions and one of my first like horror period stories. If you want to check that out, then I'll put the link above. But yeah, recently me and Mickey went to a party, and they were kind of people I don't really know, but Mickey knew, and I just started my period the day before, and it was one of them ones where it was just going to be a nightmare. Okay, I knew it was quite heavy. It was just going to be like a total like, I know, leaking out all over the place. And yes, it happened to me, like sitting on the sofa as well. And usually when I'm on period, I'll make sure I'm sitting up straight, and this sofa was quite dipped back, and I don't know why, but I was just sitting like right back on this sofa, which is a big no-no, a big mistake. And even though I had this big boy in and one of these, I still managed to leak out, and it leaked past the tampon, the end of the tongue. A nightmare. Luckily, because I was like, I just knew like I had leaked out. I stood up and I felt the back, and I was like, oh no, I can feel wet. It's like, no, and I had a long cardigan on, and I felt the back of the cardigan, and that felt wet too. And I was like, oh no, I've probably leaked all over the sofa. Like, I don't know these people. Like, oh no, what do you say? I stood up, and thank God I hadn't leaked out on the sofa. It was a nightmare. So I went to the toilet, obviously changed into some new ones. I also, because I knew it was going to be quite a bad period, I brought some spare like undies with me. So that's another little handy like little tip, to keep some spare undies with you if you know you're quite heavy and you're going to be out all day. So I changed into my new undies and that. The only thing is, yes, it leaked all over my back of my jeans, but I had my long cardigan on. It was like one of them like really like ankle length cardigans, and it was black. So when I looked at it, I leaked out a little bit on it. So I tried washing it, but it kind of made it worse, and you kind of could see it even more. So I had to try and kind of like hide it, like tuck it in between my legs, kind of walk out. Luckily, I had the brains to bring my long coat with me, because I thought if I did leak out, at least I had my long coat. So I wore my long coat, but for some reason, like when I would sit down, the coat would then go up, so it wouldn't be past my bum, because I knew if I did leak out again, like my coat was quite thick, you wouldn't be able to see it through the other side. So me and Mickey could only stay for a little while, and we had to go. That was kind of embarrassing and kind of guttering. I was kind of gutted at the same time, because I did want to stay at this party. But yeah, that was one of my kind of like stories, which was a bit embarrassing. It's like, it's okay if you know everyone, because like if it was at my sister's or my cousin's, I could be like, oh my goodness, I just leaked out, can I have some spare clothes? And they could have just gave me some spare clothes. Or like if it was my family, I don't think I would have been as embarrassed with people like I don't know. So yeah, and another time when I kind of like, you just know, you're just walking about and you're like, oh, I think I just started my period. I was up to sit with my friend, and I was like, oh no, I think I just started my period. So I was walking really like slowly to the toilet. Luckily I hadn't leaked out onto like my jeans, thank goodness. So I just stuffed like loads of tissue down there. I had to go to the shop, buy some lady products, and then I had to go to like Bow Avenue and buy like a pair of underwear. And that goes on to like one of my other kind of like little tips, is I always find that when I'm on my period, and if you use sanitary towels, I always find the best kind of underwear are big old granny pants or kind of women boxers. And I always find they're really good to wear when you're on your period, because you feel a bit more secure, and then your pad has like more of like a mold to fit to, if that makes sense, to stick to. Like if you're wearing flimsy kind of underwear, this is going to just be flapping and like just flapping all over the place and being like really flimsy. But if you have it like in some underwear which is more kind of structured, then this will fit more secure. And yeah, so I always find go for some big old granny pants, because they work better. Yeah, I think I will probably do another kind of like period video soon. Like I know my niece Mia from Mia's Life does a lot of period like topic videos, so don't forget to go and check hers out, because she has some actually really awesome period hacks, which I might try to attempt to do a video on some period hacks and then also answer some of your period questions, because yes, my internet's not working, so I couldn't answer any. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you like more kind of like girly videos like this, then comment down below or give this video a big thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, then give it a thumbs down. But yeah, we like to be positive over here. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you all. Bye.